Digital products are one of the best ways to get started making money online as a side hustle because they're super easy to get started with. You don't need to invest that much upfront to start selling them. They're super beginner friendly. You don't need to hold any inventory or manage customer service like you do when you're selling a physical item. And you almost always have a 90% profit margin or higher. So when you sell a product like these digital planners, when they sell for $28, that means you keep almost the entire sale in profit minus any marketplace fees. And by the end of the video, I'm going to show you my process for how I'm able to build almost any digital product whatsoever. And if I had to start over from complete scratch today, these are the 7 digital products that I would choose from to grow my business right now. This particular listing is selling super well. You can see it's making an estimated 190 sales per month. And the cool thing with a product like this is that you only have to create it once and then it can continue to sell forever. Now, this specific listing is only about 6 months old and it's already made around $30,000 in revenue. But the point is that a product like this digital planner can continue to sell far into the future as well. These aren't just digital products, but they're digital assets that once you create them, they'll continue to pay you far into the future. These digital budget planners absolutely print, and you can see that there's hundreds of these listings that are all selling and making anywhere from only a few $100s all the way up to tens of thousands of dollars in profit per month. The real profit here isn't made in just creating a general budget planner, but instead niching down. You'll notice that some of the top selling budget planners right now aren't just a general budget planner, but instead they target a specific niche. And these budget planners target anything from weddings to paycheck automation to Christmas gift tracking to even travel budget planners. So niching down is exactly what I would do if I was gonna go sell a budget planner. So if you're gonna get started selling a digital product on Etsy, which is where I would personally start if I had to start over again, you can see that the budget planner niche has a lot of competition, a few 100,000 competing listings. So although a lot of these listings are making a good average monthly revenue, you can also see that the average age is around 18 months. So these listings are a bit older. But if we niche down and we search for something like a travel budget planner, you can see that there's way less competition in this specific niche. And Etsy's promoting a lot more new listings on this first page of search results. So although there's still a few thousand competing listings, Etsy's still testing out new product listings on this page of search results to give new sellers a chance. And for perspective, some of the shops that are selling these budget planners, even just on Etsy, are able to make a ton of money. If I click into one of these shops, you can see that some of them aren't even that old. This one's only 2.5 years old, and they've already made around $250,000 in estimated revenue, which would mean they were making around $100,000 per year. So selling a digital product, that's definitely not bad. The cool thing is we can also use AI to help us make this type of product. So I just had a quick conversation with ChatGPT where I asked it to build me a budget planner that I could use in Google Sheets without me having to style the document or create all of the pages and fields myself. And what it did was it gave me a step-by-step guide that I could follow along with a script that I can use to actually go generate this budget planner. The process was really simple in general. So all I had to do was create a new Google Sheet. And then under the extensions tab, I just clicked on apps script. This allowed me to paste in the script that ChatGPT gave me. And essentially all I have to do is hit run. You can see it kind of working down here at the bottom. And since this is already connected to that Google Sheet that I created because I followed this step-by-step guide. And if I go back into the Google Sheet, you can see that it basically added in this boilerplate so that I can continue building out this budget planner. Now, this is just one quick conversation with ChatGPT. So this is definitely not perfect and not quite sellable just yet, but it definitely gives me a starting point, and I bet I could get ChatGPT to give me an even more robust script to build an even better budget planner that eventually I might be able to sell. Now, this isn't ready to sell off the bat, but I'm sure that with a little bit more configuration and a little bit more help from ChatGPT and possibly some better directions that I provided, it would be able to come up with a much better budget planner in not that much time. Plus, if I targeted this budget planner towards a specific niche, I would probably have a much easier time getting traffic on that product and hopefully making sales over time. The earning potential with these digital planners is anywhere from a few $1,000s for some of the medium range listings all the way up to shops selling this product that are making around $100,000 a month. Now, you might have seen that there's over 17,000 other budget planner listings posted for sale just in the travel niche. So how are you supposed to compete when there's that many other sellers? Even though it might still feel competitive with 17,000 other listings posted for sale in this niche, you can see that Etsy is constantly pushing out and testing new listings on their first page of search results. So just on this first page, you can see there's a good mix of evergreen, trending, and new listings that were posted within the last 60 days. Etsy's always testing out new listings to find the actual best products for each category in search. And that's because most of the competition that's on Etsy just posts really low quality, low effort products. So that's why I always like selling my products on Etsy, because they give every seller, including brand new sellers, a chance, even for really competitive searches like a budget planner. But how do you even know how to create a product like this and make it better than the competition? This is where I want to teach you something hopefully more valuable than any one of these single ideas on this list, and that's a concept I call product hacking. So you can think of each product as a set of puzzle pieces or elements that, when combined together, create the final product. So your job as the product creator is to come in and identify these elements or the different pieces of the product and break them down into their core pieces so that you can identify one specific piece that you could make better. These features vary depending on the specific type of product that you're selling, but some of the common elements are things like the features. So if you're selling a budget planner, what specific budget planning features does your planner offer that someone else might not be offering? You can also target different niches or add better mockup and presentation to your overall listing, or do better SEO and marketing. So your job as the product creator is to identify a best-selling winning product, identify which elements are being used in that product, and then select one of those elements to go and make better so that when you launch your product listing for sale, it actually has a chance of making sales. You just need to be able to replicate a product and then make one element of it a bit better than all of the competition, and that's how you can set yourself apart. But that brings us to the next idea on the list: craft tutorials. So I came across this listing, which is essentially just a PDF download that also comes with a video tutorial teaching you how to crochet and create this snowman figure. Now, although this does seem like a relatively simple listing, at least in my opinion, I took a look at the stats card here on the side and noticed that this product is selling around 3,000 times per month. So I kept digging a little bit and found that there's all kinds of craft tutorial listings posted for sale. These listings range from anywhere from cup warmers, blankets, mittens, these little Christmas tree things, and even slippers. And the craziest part is that since these are literally just tutorials, these listings make an insane amount of money. A lot of these craft tutorial and pattern templates, at least on this first page of search results, are making anywhere from around $5,000 on the lower end, all the way up to some listings that are making $40,000 to even $50,000 in revenue per month. And keep in mind, some of these single listings don't even include the revenue from other listings that might be in the same shops. Some of these individual listings that teach you how to make something as simple as these crocheted pumpkins are making more per month than some people make in an entire year. And it makes a ton of sense because you might be saving someone a bunch of time where they pay you $15 to $30 for your tutorial and then they learn exactly how to get the result you're promising. If you want to sell a product like this, then you absolutely need some kind of craft related skill that you can turn into a tutorial that people will pay you for. But at the moment, these crochet templates seem to be the most popular, at least on Etsy's marketplace. But there are a lot of other types of craft related patterns and downloads that people are offering for sale. And this is a product where if you do have the craft related skills, you actually have a huge advantage in creating something like this over everyone else. Now, I'd personally recommend doing a little bit of research to figure out which type of craft tutorials are actually selling the best so that you don't waste your time creating a tutorial that no one's going to want. But ultimately, if there's a skill you have, even if it might seem a little bit more trivial, something like crochet, it can be useful to someone else and they might be willing to pay for it. And it really just goes to show that if you're willing to put in the effort, you really can sell almost anything. The profit potential here obviously depends on the niche you're targeting, the quality of your listings, and all of the basics, but some of the middle range listings here are making around $7,000 to $8,000 in revenue per month, and some of those top outlier listings make anywhere from $40,000 up to $50,000 per month. That said, if you're looking for something still sort of crafty, but a little bit more direct, where you don't have to package up your own personal experience into a product, then I would consider selling journal and scrapbooking bundles. So this particular journal bundle, and yes, it's called a journal bundle, is just a listing with a bunch of different types of assets inside it, such as bucket list pages, calendar planning, mood trackers, doodle pages, monthly pages, and obviously a lot more is going on here. And honestly, I just wanted to show you this listing because it's making an insane amount of money. To me, it kind of looks like a lot of these assets are more like coloring pages. But considering the fact that this listing was posted only about 2 months ago and it's already selling around 2,000 times per month, you can't really knock what's working. This is why I always say that you start with research so that you can provide more supply where there's a ton of demand. Now, personally, if I was going to sell this particular product, I would probably do something more similar to this listing where all of their assets just feel a little bit more premium and a little bit more professional, I guess you could say. But the assets just overall look a little bit cleaner, and this is probably something I would go with. Also considering that it's still selling super well. And this is a really cool product because you can see that this specific one was listed back in 2023, which feels like a really long time ago. But like I talked about earlier, these are digital assets that continue to pay you over time. And this one has earned the creator around $240,000. But regardless, there's still a ton of these asset packs that are being sold that just make it easier for people to do things like scrapbooking or journaling. And there's some listings within this niche that sell at an even more premium price. So for example, this bundle is selling for around $72. And you can see that with around 30 sales per month, they're still able to make around $2,000 per month, which isn't bad for some passive income. You're basically saving people time and giving them a bundle of assets. So depending on what they're looking for their journaling or scrapbooking needs, they might buy your listing pack. If you do some research and have a good understanding of what this specific type of customer wants, you could go create these packs using AI or some other tools and have something to list for sale. Obviously, for any one of these niches, making a good product is essential. And in addition to that, there's a few core principles that will help you make a lot more money over time. These are the 3 core principles that most beginners miss that are absolutely essential if you want to be successful. The first is that volume always wins, and you need to publish more listings. Most beginners give up after they've posted 20 to 30 listings, but that's nowhere near enough to gain traction. The best-selling shops on Etsy have hundreds, if not thousands, of listings posted for sale, so try and think about your business long-term. Try and find a way that you can post hundreds of listings over time. It's really difficult to make your first 20 listings, and it takes a ton of time. But after that, your next 100 listings become a lot easier to post. Second is you have to use proven mockups only. The mockup is the billboard and it's the advertisement for your product listing. The mockup is the actual image that displays what your digital product is. Most beginners just throw something together and hope that it works. But in reality, you need to study the mockups that successful listings and successful shops are using and try to see if you can use the same mockups in your own product listings. And number 3, only build products based on what's already proven to work. When you go to create a product, this is one of the reasons why I like selling on Etsy, is because you can see using some plugins what exact products are already selling the best. You can learn from that and study where all of the demand is going so that you can provide more supply. You can create more similar listings to target all of that demand and make easier sales. And by the way, these 3 steps are part of my quick start guide. So if you want to get started selling digital products on Etsy, I'll leave a free download link to this guide below. It helps you get set up and start selling in less than 9 minutes. This is a pretty broad category of product and it includes a lot of things. But from what I can tell, if you follow the fundamentals of researching and creating assets that people actually want and use, you can earn anywhere from $10 to $20 and even up to $30,000 per month with this product. But that brings us to the next idea on the list, which is one of my all-time favorite products to sell, and that's digital prints. Now, I've definitely mentioned selling this product before, and anyone who's watched my previous videos will know, but that's because it's one of the easiest products to make while still being a product that can make you a ton of money. I noticed this listing on Etsy, which is a pack of Christmas themed digital downloads. Now, I like this type of product because the actual prints themselves are super easy to make using AI. And obviously, this specific listing is selling super well because it's almost Christmas time. But yeah, the principle is always the same. We're able to make relevant art to what customers are already buying and then list it for sale as a digital download. And customers are more than happy to spend $10 to $20 on a pack of artwork so that they don't have to go through the hassle of paying for an AI tool, learning how to write out a prompt, making it for themselves, and then hoping that it looks right. Plus, a lot of people don't even know that it's possible to make art using AI themselves. So when you think about it in terms of value, you're actually saving the customer a ton of time and effort by just creating a simple pack of artwork that they might want. And for anyone who says it's oversaturated or that this doesn't work anymore, this specific listing is only about 2 months old and it's already selling a couple thousand times per month. You can see just today, 28 people have purchased this bundle. And this isn't just a one-off example. Here's another pack of Christmas artwork that was listed around the same time about 2 months ago. And this one's also bringing in around 350 sales per month, or around $10,000 of revenue. And it's not just Christmas artwork either. For example, this Halloween pack was listed in August, right before Halloween, and it sold super well during that season. And there's more general vintage style artwork packs that are more evergreen and will sell more consistently over time. And as an added bonus, if you want to sell this type of product, it's super easy to make and do if you know what you're doing and you're using the right tools. So for example, I could use a design tool like Kittl. Now, I've talked about this tool before, but it's one of my favorite AI and general design tools overall at the moment. And you can see I've just uploaded a really low resolution example that I got from one of the reference prompt packs. And what I can do is I can select it and just hit remix with AI. And right here, you can see it brings up the AI generator at the bottom of the screen. This is where I can select the image generation model, which is a cool thing about Kittl is they include a bunch of different AI models all in one place so that you don't have to go buy 5 different subscriptions. We'll match the aspect ratio to the original input, and then we'll just write a very simple prompt, like using the same style of image, make a pine tree. We'll hit generate, and then we'll just give it a few seconds to actually generate out this image. Right now, I really like the Nano Banana Pro model. I think it's the best image generation model that you can use when generating some kind of artwork like this. So honestly, we got a super good result the first time, but we can also try it again. So this time I'm going to launch out the Nano Banana Pro model and we'll just be able to compare and see which one we like better. The only downside is that the Pro model only takes a few more seconds to generate. And there you go. So now based on one reference image, I was able to create 2 new designs that honestly look incredible. If I was designing an artwork pack, this is the same process that I would go through, make a bunch of different artwork pieces and then bundle them together, adding a ton of value to one pack that a customer can buy for $10 to $20. Now, obviously we could dive into this a bit more and get more detailed, but I've already created some videos on exactly how to do that. So if this is the specific product that you want to sell, you can go watch those videos next. Keep in mind that most people don't even know how to use AI image generators, and they also don't want to go spend the $20 to $30 per month to get a subscription to a platform like Kittl. So when they're able to buy your pack of graphics for $10 to $20, it's a complete no-brainer to them. They just want to be able to print out the artwork, or sometimes they just want to display it in something like these Samsung TVs that look like a painting on the wall. It just rotates through all the digital artwork, kind of adding a vibe to their living room or wherever they have it. As usual, your success depends on your ability to research and see what's in demand, and then make actual quality designs and products targeting those niches. But best-selling listings selling this product can make a few $1,000s per month. And some of the newer shops that are taking this approach, such as this shop that's only 1 year old, have already made a pretty respectable amount of revenue just by selling this digital art. But also remember, they didn't quit after just 25 listings. They've posted a lot of listings for sale. Now, a similar but also completely different product that you could consider selling is something like this custom portrait, where the seller is combining 2 different images into one. Now, traditionally, this would be extremely hard to make, and you'd have to have some serious skills to do this, where you're combining 2 completely different images into one. You'd have to know Photoshop or actually be able to make the art yourself. But I'm guessing that the seller of this listing isn't doing all of the manual work themselves, because you can see that it's only selling for around $28 and 29 people are buying it per day. You can see in the last month, it's sold around 600 times, bringing in an estimated $22,000 of revenue. There's a bunch of listings popping up, like this one, where the customer's able to send in a picture of their pet and get it turned into a completely custom piece of artwork. Or this one where they're taking a family photo and turning it into something that looks like it was generated by Pixar. So how are they able to do this, where they combine images or transform images into completely new art styles? These custom portraits are made using AI. And this is really cool because we could replicate the exact same process as before and use a tool like Kittl to do this for us. So to show you this example inside of Kittl, I've just opened up a new document, and from here, we'll just search for something like an old lady. Here, I'm just gonna look through and try and find an image that we could use. So I'll just use this one for an example. And then I think we'll search for something like a young boy. Again, I just need to scroll through and find a result that I'll use for the example. Remember, you would be using the customer's photos here instead. This is just a quick example to show you how this works. All right, so we've got our two images and the process is honestly super simple. So all I need to do inside of Kittl is press the A key on my keyboard, and this will allow me to draw out an artboard around the images that I have. So I have to add an artboard around both images. And then once that's done, all I need to do is select one of the artboards and click this purple little plus icon next to it to create this purple smart board. They're a little bit different with the naming. So I'll just move it down here so it's easier to see. And from here, the last step is I need to click on the other image and click and drag a second smart board into the one that we already created. So you can see here now both of these purple arrows are pointing into this new smartboard. And what it's actually doing is referencing both of those images in our AI prompt. Again, we could change out the image model that we want to use. I'm going to use Nano Banana Pro. And we're also going to match the same input aspect ratio as before. And then I just need to type out a prompt. So I'm going to say something like create a black and white sketch style image showing this lady with the young boy from these images. Then I'll hit generate and we'll just give this a few seconds to generate. So now it's done, and you can see with incredible detail, it's referenced both of these images that we used as a part of the prompt, and it's combined them into one image that looks absolutely incredible. The detail that it's maintained from the original photos is absolutely insane. And from here, we could pass this along to the customer and see if they like it. We could even try this again and say, combine these two images into one and make it look like it's Pixar animated. And remember, when you're selling a product like this, some people might know that you can do this with AI, but a lot of people won't want to have to buy the AI tools. They don't want to learn all of the prompting and how to combine all of the images into one. So they'd much rather pay the $20 or $30 to have you do it so that they don't have to go through all the hassle. You can see it was able to do this Pixar style just as well. And again, it only took me maybe 30 seconds of work. I don't know, would you want to see a tutorial of me breaking down how to sell this specific product? Let me know in the comments. That said, on average, the individual listings here in this category can make around $20,000 to $30,000. But keep in mind that since they are custom, they're made to order, which means it's a little easier to get sales up front, but it's not going to be passive long term. But that brings us to the next product on the list, which is a little bit more boring, and that's why nobody actually wants to sell it, and that's selling resume templates. Now, I've made a video breaking down this specific product before, and what you can see here is that there's a bunch of resume templates that are exactly what it sounds like, just a template for people to fill in their resume, that are all making a few $100s per month. It's a super simple product because all it is a Google document template where the customer downloads it and then fills in all of their information. People buy these for around $8 because they don't want to have to go through all of the hassle of styling them and ensuring that they're formatted correctly themselves. But this specific listing is making around $1,700 a month. And if we click through and actually take a look at this specific shop, you can see that over 10 years, they've done 111,000 sales and they've made around $900,000. That's almost $100,000 a year, and selling a digital product, that's definitely not bad. Again, the real money here is made by niching down. A lot of the really successful listings here that sell consistently over time target specific industries, like this nursing resume. It's just targeted a little bit different so that if a nurse is looking for a resume template, this is going to be the one that shows up. If you search for something like nurse resume templates on Etsy, you can see that there's hardly any competition, only around 3,000 listings. And that's because this is a product that people don't usually want to take the time to build out. But keep in in mind that once you get it right, it really wouldn't take you that long to make multiple versions. You could copy a nursing resume template and target it to a bunch of other industries pretty quickly. And with only 3,000 competing listings and knowing that Etsy's still pushing out new listings to searches like this, it shows you that there's definitely long-term money to be made here. I actually have an entire video breaking down how to make this exact product that I posted a couple years ago, and it's still relevant to this day. So if you want to make this product, then you can go check out that video next. Each individual template that you make and post for sale might not sell right away, and they might sell slower over time. But if you build up a large enough catalog, eventually, like the shops that we took a look at, you can make some good money over time. Now, obviously, I like using AI to help me build out great products. And in this case, what I ended up doing was taking ChatGPT and asking it to give me a prompt that I can use with a different AI tool called Figma Make. Now, what this tool does is it basically allows me to generate out an entire website around a central theme. So I copied the prompt from ChatGPT, I pasted it into this Figma Make tool, and honestly, it took around 5 to 10 minutes to finish generating, but it did a really thorough job. And what you can see is once it's done, I basically had an entire web page resume builder that I could use. And what was really cool about this is I was able to fill in all of my personal details that you would normally put on a resume. So I just put in some example details and work experience, and you can see it populates in real time on the right-hand side. So the resume is being built as I enter in all of my personal details, and also has a really cool stylizer. So depending on how I wanted the actual resume to look, it gave me a few different options there. And this entire resume builder was built using AI, which is definitely not bad in my opinion. But that brings us to the next product on the list, which is one that I've never talked about before, and that's selling these custom icon packs. So this one surprised me a little bit when I saw how well it was selling. You can see that this particular listing is making around $3,000 a month, and all it is a pack of custom, unique, hand-drawn icons that people can download and use on their phone. Now, to me, this looks like it would be a little bit harder to create, especially if you don't have that graphic design experience. But you can see that even this listing that's super old and was posted all the way back in 2021 has consistently sold well over time. Now, there's some other examples like this listing where they're going with this fall themed icon pack, and it's sold pretty well over time as well. You can see in the same time frame, it's made an additional $230,000. The cool thing is that a shop like this can use their graphic design skills to create these icon packs, but they can also sell a bunch of different other type of products like these stickers that people might use in digital planners or journals or things like that. But one of their primary and best selling products are these icon packs that you can see sell consistently over time. And if we add it up and take a look at the shop's overall stats, you can see that from the last 5 years, they've been able to sell over 110,000 items, and that's brought them in roughly $1.8 million. That's around $360,000 per year, and all of that comes from only around 138 product listings. And with digital products, again, that's going to almost be all profit. This is a product that is going to be harder to make, but that also means that you're competing with less people. The listings I've seen make anywhere from a few hundred to a few $1,000s per month, but once you create one of these packs, it should be easier to get a few more of these packs out. And remember, you can always add multiple listings and multiple types of digital products to your shop to continue compounding the growth over time.